You are listening to the Cattle Call podcast. This is the place where computer-aided design and drafting meets humor and practicality, with a touch of business acumen thrown in for fun. Jim and Rocco, the owners of Zentech Consultants, the premier U.S. technology consulting firm for architecture, engineering, construction, and manufacturing, discuss the fascinating world of CAD with some humor and some honesty. The Cattle Call podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Cattle Call podcast with Jim and Rocco from Zentech Consultants. I am Jim, your resident technology geek, and with me, as always, is my partner.
It's Rocco.
It's Rocco, and hopefully between the two of us, we can put together one brain to give you guys some good info today. But luckily, we have a guest in today who's going to make our lives a lot easier, someone more intelligent than Rocco and I combined. So we'll introduce you to him in just 1 second. But first, you know what time it is, Rocco. It's that time of the week.
I thought you almost forgot.
I never forget. It's time for the engineering joke of the week. All right, Rocco, here's this one is for all my coder friends out there. All right, ready? You know what, Rocco? There are 10 types of people in this world. Rocco, you know who they are? There are those who understand binary and those who don't. There you go. There's your joke for the week. And Rocco has no idea what that joke means, and that's okay, because the rest of us absolutely love it. So, and I played my little rim shot sound effect. So, all right. So here we go. All right. So getting into our show today. So we have a repeat guest on the show today. Mr. Ken D'Amato, the CEO and co-founder of SmarTwin, is here once again, even though he should know better after working with Rocco and I for years. So Ken, thanks for coming back on the show, man.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let's do this. Let's start off with the obligatory intro question. Where the guest gets to tell us all, about all the cool things that they do. So Ken, how'd you get that big CEO title over at SmarTwin, and what do you guys do on the daily over there?
Oh, I bribed somebody seriously to get.
Is that what it takes? Oh, if I'd known that, I wouldn't let Rocco be in charge.
Yeah. Well, just, to give you kind of the elevator pitch for SmarTwin, what we're doing is we're using AI to convert buildings to metaverses and digital twins, so that they've got not only revenue generating metaverses, but they also have operational improvements with digital twin, and that allows them to be more sustainable and meet a lot of the green initiatives that are going on around us. So that's kind of the quick 1-2 punch.
There you go. And look at that. What a coincidence. It's almost exactly what our topic is today. Can't imagine why we asked you to be on. So today we're talking about constructing the metaverse.
Right.
Exactly. So today Ken's kind of here to help guide us through some of the up and coming features of using digital twins and BIM modeling concepts in the metaverse, right? And in particular, we want to focus on the idea of using constructible real world models as the basis for the metaverse, instead of, kind of the esoteric freeform digital spaces that a lot of marketing people seem to be envisioning. In other words, right, we're going to look into, are there reasons and benefits to modeling real world buildings and locations and environments into the metaverse, and why? So Ken, you were on the podcast here a few months back talking about the metaverse in general.
Yeah.
So what developments and changes have you seen in both digital twins and the metaverse since your last visit?
Well, it's been a huge exponential adoption, at least certainly in interest, if not in terms of new projects coming on board. But last time we spoke, I think it was about 6 to 7 months ago. Really, I was, I was trying not to tread too much in the metaverse because I felt like nobody would take me seriously. But since then, we've heard a lot more about the metaverse. We've heard a lot more applications, a lot more people, releasing projects. There have been baseball stadiums that are being done. There are certainly a lot more concerts, a lot more things going on, a lot more metaverses in general, and a lot more Web 3.0 integrations into those metaverses for NFTs, for initial coin offerings, and all kinds of potential revenue generating and also community building capabilities for a metaverse. So, well, we've been real excited because we kind of got in early enough where, we've got some great partners that we work with, like Siemens using the Unreal Engine, NVIDIA Omniverse, and all of these other potential add-ons that we also work with. And there are those also on the digital twin side as well. But this combination really kind of supercharges everything together,
Nice.
and so we're really excited about it.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, like I said at the top of the show, right? I want to focus on the construction side of the metaverse today. And I think that because the metaverse is still a very new concept, right? And it's entirely digital, that a lot of people are envisioning, right? These cute little environments with little tiny animated characters dancing around, kind of
Right.
like the old Zoo Tycoon game I used to play with my kid when he was like 10. And I don't think that that's necessarily the way this is going to play out. And I know that Ken, in particular, has a very distinct vision of how digital twins for real structures and real environments is going to be a cornerstone of the metaverse as we move forward. So, Ken, why do you think we need digital twins in the metaverse and not just, we'll call it the quote unquote animated environments?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. It's really, why do we need to simulate things? Why do we need to train people? Why do we need to give people an opportunity for both safety purposes and for operational purposes, the ability to have a sandbox to play in? Those are some of the key things. So, when you have that as a foundation, then you can take the building into the revenue generation that it's capable of. So this works with older buildings that are being renovated or new buildings that are being constructed. And, it all comes out of the architectural design, which is something that is really a copyrighted version of the design of the building and is specific to that owner of that building and is really their legacy, right? And is super important. So being able to create a digital twin of that with a metaverse allows for, if it's a new project, to be able to actually use the digital twin for construction sequencing, use the digital twin to as the project progresses, to be able to monitor the progress and do comparisons of the digital twin to the progress being made, and then also be able to use the metaverse to actually build out and show subcontractors and show the stakeholders what's getting built and how it's being built or how it should be built as well, and also allow you to simulate various phases of that construction project. So it really brings the construction project alive. And if it is a renovation, you can scan the building beforehand and have a version of the building that's very accurate that you can bring into a metaverse and then start to overlay the changes of the renovation. And again, plan out those renovations in a simulated way. And, you could, if you want to section off something and actually show somebody how you want everything from supplies to be brought in to the project site and then how the installation will go in a certain order, you can do that. So that's what you can do with the metaverse in terms of construction.
Yeah, it's an absolutely brilliant concept, and on the buildable end, right? But
Right.
I think folks need to keep in the back of their mind too that it provides an additional function, like you said, rather than these simulated animated environments, even once the building's done, right, it becomes
Right.
a placeholder for your client, for the owner. They're going to ask you to work with and maintain that helps them run their daily operational processes of their building, even if it's down to, marketing and showing people, real estate offices for rent or whatever you got going on. It's the potential for it is just staggering in terms of what you can do when you have that real construction model.
Absolutely.
So, Rocco, let's wake you up here a little bit. So, are clients talking to you yet about digital twins and how to get them built, or and are any of them considering their use or how they'd be used in the metaverse?
It's not really a point of daily discussion. I mean, I think people are, you want to stay up with the trends and what's going on. So, those that I have deeper discussions with, it comes up because it's an upcoming trend, right? But I don't think it's not the daily part of our discussions at the moment here anyway.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think it's pervaded into the daily lexicon yet, but that's why we do this on the show. So we let you guys know what's coming and what you should be looking at.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, and I think that you have to think in terms of various buildings and their function, and various just structures in general and their function, because it's the buildings that are highly active. A factory floor, a robotic line. Okay, these are the guys that are really doing this now. I mean, BMW is really, creating digital twins with metaverses that are on the forefront. Now, is that going to be needed for a residential building? Definitely not. Not right now. A digital twin would probably be more helpful than a metaverse. But if you have a mixed-use building that has retail and you're trying to generate a lot of community in your building with tenants and with the residents as well, having a metaverse of those retail spaces for event spaces and for events, that can benefit greatly from the metaverse. So that is where you start to really change the dynamics of a building that is pretty much, pretty stagnant and pretty much just elevators going up and down and people going in and out. You give it personality, and all of the branding that goes on for residential and mixed-use buildings today, especially with those retailers on the bottom floors, that comes alive when you bring that into the metaverse. And now you can have events there every single week where you're creating community and you're pushing people to come into the building and, visit the retailer or purchase in the metaverse with the retailer. And it gives the building owner an opportunity to actually rent space of their metaverse.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So I think when you look at the idea of the metaverse, right, on the surface, it may seem like just another silly trend, right, like TikTok or Google Spaces, right? But I really don't think it is.
That's what they said about online shopping.
That's exactly it. It's never going to work.
Who wants to get an Amazon box shipped to them at home?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to go out, you want to look at what you're buying, no. Yeah.
Yeah. No. And just ask Lord Bezos how that's working out.
Yeah.
Doing all right for himself. So look, the metaverse, it's still in its infancy. But honestly, I think it's a natural outgrowth of social media marrying together with, advanced film and game generation, right? All of those are just booming industries that have really become the cornerstone of modern technology. And I think integrating those dynamic visual and interactive capabilities into a true built environment, I think it's just going to be an absolute game changer for everybody in the design build world. So Ken, how do you think the metaverse concept is going to affect, digital twins, right? Which has been your focus for a while. And how does it affect that and how the twins are used in construction?
Yeah. So the thing that's great about the digital twin, it didn't know it. And I talk about it like as a third person or something. Digital twinning did not realize that they were actually in the metaverse already, right? So digital twins are definitely part of the metaverse. You actually were able to take the building model and turn it into a rendering that you could tour. So that was like, that's kind of like an early metaverse,
Hmm.
and now because of you've got great, hyper realistic looking development and rendering engines like Unreal Engine 5, you can have a very accurate look. And as an operational person, you can really tour the building, and you can tour the building with consultants. You can get lighting and do solar studies of light and understand your energy use and understand maybe the opportunities to save energy. All of that can be done in conjunction with your metaverse that then has a public version that people can come into.
Yeah, it's stunning. It's crazy. Okay, all right. So let's take a quick break to hear from today's sponsor, and when we get back, we'll get into a bit more detail on the benefits of working with digital twins in the metaverse. All right, so stand by, folks. We'll be back in just a minute with more of the Cattle Call podcast. All right, everybody. Today's Cattle Call podcast is being sponsored by Solid Space. That's Solid Space with a 3 instead of the E at the end. Solid Space is a QA/QC analysis and variance reporting solution. It compares your 2D and 3D design models to your construction site laser scans. And what it does is it will identify to within a 16th of an inch any construction errors or misplacements as they occur. We can generate the reports that you're going to need to see where you have flaws in the construction site within 12 hours instead of waiting to find out about them months down the road when it's going to cost you 10 times as much to fix. All right, look, folks, a slight variation at the beginning of any job can cause countless delays and cost tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars in rework over the life of a construction job, and Solid Space will help you avoid that. So, Rocco, why don't you tell folks how do they find out about Solid Space and how they can get working with us?
Yeah, you can actually hit up our website, of course, zentechconsultants.net. You can see sample variance reports there if you'd like to take a look. And reach out to us. We'd be happy to set up a demo. The demo's really not that long, and we can talk through any of your questions or concerns. So hit up our website, check out, there's an awesome video that Jim did.
Always awesome when Jim does it.
Oh, boy. So check out our website, give us a ring, 866-824-4459, or drop us an email, sales@zentechconsultants.net.
There you go. Solid Space, folks. Trust me when I tell you that this is the one system that everybody out there who's in the construction field, you need this one. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cattle Call podcast, where we're talking today about using digital twins or real-world models in the metaverse and why it's a worthwhile investment in any firm's future. Whether you're an architect or a GC or a company that makes marbles, right? It doesn't matter. We're looking into why taking the time to develop true digital twins of actual built environments is more beneficial than, made up simulations. So Ken, let's start with the money side of things, right? Because that's where everybody's mind goes. Where do you see the real financial benefit of developing these full digital twins for the metaverse, right? Where are the profits for folks?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, well, so the digital twin is more of a patience play, and that goes with operations because operations are all about long-term goals, and so is the fact that the building that you own is probably a 30 or 40-year endeavor. So your initial benefit from a digital twin will take about I would say 3 to 5 years to pay off. If you go with a full digital twin alone, right? So there you have is kind of a long-term investment. But if you're doing it the way that we do it, by taking your building plans, taking your 3D models that we'll either create by converting your 2D plans and or adding laser scanning for accuracy, taking that and turning it into a digital twin with the metaverse, that metaverse can start generating revenue if you're a public space that generates revenue from opening your doors. like retail or venues or any kind of other event space, that metaverse can start generating revenue within months.
Right.
So it's a real kind of a two-pronged approach that really connects with each other and helps each other. And with the metaverse portions, not only do you start to well, let's go back to the digital twin. The digital twin will help you save on energy, just to get specific, right? It would also help you with sustainability check boxes that you have to deal with from local government and also federal government. So, and it also is a branding play because you are being responsible and sustainable and providing, green initiatives within your building. So that's what the digital twin does for you. Now in the metaverse, you'll be able to immediately start, minting NFTs. You'll be able to create community and create, points and certain incentives for people to join. And, maybe you can give these people certain access to special events and different things like that. And it also, with the retail portion, you'll be able to work with your retailers and start to charge them rent in your metaverse. And then also with event spaces, many events are hybrid today anyway because of COVID and because of just in general, you want to reach out to people beyond those that just come to the event. These hybrid spaces, they have nothing to do with the building. They're just a hybrid virtual space for the expo, and the expo company charges for that space. But if you have a metaverse, you can offer both the physical space and the metaverse space in a way that connects to make a much more better cohesive expo of a hybrid event. And now you can have people interacting locally at the event with the people in the metaverse. And this allows for a lot more revenue to be captured by the exact replica of the building in the metaverse.
Yeah, absolutely. So all right, I think that as with I guess any shift in a technology process, right? There are always going to be questions around the software that I need and how much training, right? And what are the changes to my work process, and all of those things make people nervous, right?
Yes.
When we're discussing a relatively new concept like digital twins, right? And now we're talking about taking and adopting those into a truly cutting edge system like the metaverse, right? Which
Right.
a lot of people are still struggling to even understand as a concept and what it really is. I think we need to think about how to get there from a practical standpoint. So what do you think, Ken? I mean, does the addition of a metaverse into this equation increase the complexity of developing digital twins, and is that going to affect the future of how we build them out?
Well, it's about the purpose of the metaverse. So you need a walkthrough rendering. Yeah. So you've got to have that anyway. So that metaverse becomes that walkthrough rendering for the operational people. And I kind of look at it this way. This is all evolutionary things that are built on like sediment in a river. It's like built on layers of the next great thing, right? And so, we used to have just simple building control systems, BMS systems that would just allow people to kind of check the lights, check the energy, make sure the heat's on in the whole place. And those got more and more sophisticated to the point where now there are digital twin dashboards that allow you to really control that, really run a simulation before you start, having a tenant, start to feel the effects of any changes that you're trying to do to improve energy consumption. And then, with the metaverse, that allows you to really have a better look through, your ability to walk your space and bring other people into your space to consult with you on your space and bring experts in. And so, all of this with IoT connected really really is an evolution of the building operations system, right? And then as far as what is your space doing, on its off time when nobody's in there, and is it conceivable that you want to have events every single day or every couple of days? Maybe the cost of that is not worth it because you've got to staff people, you've got to bring people in physically, you've got to have security. So maybe it's better to have metaverse events during the week, driving people to the bigger events on the weekend. So again, it's another evolutionary layer, and it really fits in with the growth of the internet from Web 1.0, which was email and email and those AOL horrible discs that came in the mail told you to sign up, to Web 2.0, which was the ability to shop, get stuff shipped, look at products, interact with people, and get more social with people, to now Web 3.0, which is all of that on steroids.
There you go. Good description. So Rocco, look, as part of kind of what we do, we work with a lot of software systems as, resellers, trainers, consultants, and what have you. And I know that you talk with a lot of the senior people, right, at big name companies like, Brixis and Hexagon and Autodesk and Procore, right? You have conversations with them all the time. Are those people talking seriously about, digital twins and the metaverse and how it ties into their software's future development?
Jim, before I answer that question, I mean, I'm still having flashbacks of AOL and dial-up here. I thought you'd have like a soundbite of, the dial-up noise.
I could do it in my voice. Yeah, dude, you got mail.
Good imitation.
You just had to be really, really annoying with the sound. It works.
No, to answer your question, I think everybody's keeping a pulse as to what's going on, but they're not really disclosing to us, what their future plans are. But this is, to Ken's point, this is where tomorrow's going, right? It's the future, and it's here at some level already. So, but I don't really get too much into deep discussions around what our partners are doing around this technology, but it's definitely areas that they're looking into. So at a high level, they're involved, but I don't know how deep they are at this point.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so look, I've said a couple of times on today's show that we're discussing, new leading edge types of technology, right? But that doesn't mean that there aren't examples of how these concepts are already in place and functioning that we can refer to. I think a lot of times just being able to see how other people in our industry are using new tech can help us kind of understand it a little bit better and begin our own journey in that direction. So, Ken, where in kind of the modern built environment are, metaverse enabled twins being used?
Yeah, well, just like the good old days of BIM, right? It starts with architecture, and it is the architects that generally are looking for new creative ways of expressing the designs that they have. And that's where we're seeing the metaverse kind of spearhead into the AEC world. We're seeing architects actually creating, their designs that they are bringing and looking to build, bringing it into the metaverse in a way that people can start to experience that space. And I think we'll start to see the engineering disciplines pick it up, because it's a great way to simulate what you need to do with that engineering in that building. And then you'll also, and that'll be part of digital twin as well. And then you'll see construction start to use it as not only a way for the back office people to simulate and create scenarios of build, and actually train people before they go on site, which is a much safer way to operate as well. But actually put it on site and have individual workers see exactly, through some kind of, what do they call them, gang box. You know the gang boxes?
Yep.
Yeah, the gang box, which is the big, like, locked up box that's got all the tools in it. Well, that can have like a big screen in it. That big screen can pop up. I know a good friend who's working on something like that, and that can be like a portal into, this is what we're building. Take a look at how we're going to do this, and this is the simulation and the steps of what you need to do, and that makes for a very good visual, as opposed to continually telling somebody what they're going to be doing, or handing out pieces of paper and saying this is with pictures on it. If you can show somebody a kind of a video, I mean, people live in video games as it is, so if you can make your construction site work very video game like, where people are looking and saying, okay, that's what I need to do today, and I totally get it. And I think that's that's a game changer for construction and throughout the whole AEC process.
Yeah, I actually hadn't even thought about it in terms of site and safety, and that's absolutely brilliant, right? You can get all your site and safety certifications, sign-offs, training. People can do it before they even show up on site, instead of having to pull your guys and spend an hour out, in the rain with the hard hats on, trying to show people, well, if you go down there, that's where the power is, and if there's a problem, down there is where the communications tower is. You don't have to do all that. That can all be done in advance through the metaverse. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
cool.
You don't have to have that on-site safety instruction, which takes a couple hours out of the day.
Yep. No, that's real good stuff. So, okay, look. So, we all know, right, that the big name in the metaverse, at least on the news, is Facebook and Mr. Zuckerberg, because, that's where the name was kind of coined, right? And with their limitless funds, they can invest in, the next big concepts in social marketing and social engineering. What I really want to know, though, is how it's being used and will be used in the design build realm. Right. So, Ken, sure. In the technology space, right, who has the biggest ambitions that you see for the metaverse? Right. Right now, who in the built environment that most of us deal with every day is really focused on this?
Well, I think the big names, and by the way, I thank people like Mark Zuckerberg and NVIDIA and Siemens and Autodesk for spending tons of money teaching everybody about the metaverse. So I thank them every day. So
that's a good thing. And by the way, if Mark, if you want to come on the show, just let us know. Anytime, open invitation.
Yeah. Just about the metaverse, right?
Yep.
So yeah, the thing is, there are companies out there that have big designs for this. NVIDIA is really big on this. Unreal Engine with their parent company, Epic Games, and then of course Siemens as well, and Autodesk, is getting into it, and they're getting into digital twinning also. So it's really coming together, and it's really just kind of an evolution of the things that we do already. It's just it's kind of like what BIM was. In 2008, 2010, when it really started to ramp up. Architects started to see it first. They started to use it first. Then, we saw a lot of universities also get into BIM in terms of their construction process. So we're seeing universities get metaverses. And this is an insurance policy for any possible next pandemic or next
Sure.
economic pandemic or pandemic, where gas is, way too expensive, energy problems, or there's transportation problems and people can't get there live. Best to have that insurance policy of, my venue, my university is always going to be open.
Yeah.
But, and if we have to wait to get people in the door, we'll at least be continuing our continuity of business and community and outreach to people that we are working with.
Yeah. I have to imagine, particularly for schools and universities and training centers, because the idea opens up unlimited classrooms, right? Even moving beyond like the pandemic and what we had to do, but as it expands into more of that 3D virtual reality potential, right? Where now today they're limited. You only have like 30 students to a class, right? In your local community college. Well, you want to attend UPenn, you can do it from Hawaii. You can have 600 people in every class. The potential benefit there is crazy.
Sure. And same goes for venues. It's unlimited tickets.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely stunning.
Yeah, we saw it with Fortnite, with Ariana Grande had 50 million or so at her concert, so.
And it becomes an economy of scale where, I love to go see the Yankees, but I ain't paying $300 to go to the Yankees for the evening. It's not going to happen. But if I can go in and they say, hey, you can get in the virtual space, look from whatever seat you want, have the best seat in the house behind the, home plate, and it costs you, $6. Yeah, I'll do that every day.
Yeah, well, probably a little more.
Yeah, so. Probably a bit more. It is the Yankees. They ain't doing nothing cheap.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. It's like, a father, son, or, daughter can build a great experience on a weekend at home in VR, or even, on TV or desktop, but most likely in VR, because that's going to be something that the kids are going to want, and they can have a great experience with the Yankees and then go to the real game.
Yeah.
Then, have a special night where they go to a real game, but they can be part of the Yankees stadium experience weekly, as opposed to, once every 3 months or once a season,
Yeah. And that's it. It's about, all of it, right? It all ties back to building, loyal customer bases and fan bases and engaging with these people, quite literally in this case, where they live. It's priceless. So,
yeah.
Okay.
And just like streaming blew up during the pandemic, when, things might be a little difficult for everybody to get out, the metaverse will blow up with entertainment. In the next time we might have to stay home, or maybe things are just a little too expensive to go out. At least we have an alternative.
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant. All right, so with that, as I always do when I have a guest on the show, I'm going to give Ken one last chance here to educate us on something around today's topic that I was not smart enough to ask about. So, Ken, what else do you think is important for our listeners to understand about digital twins in the metaverse?
I think the main thing is that it's everything you know already, but just better.
There you go. Simple and to the point. That works.
More immersive, more engaging, and more fun.
And hopefully some of the stuff that Ken brought up today gives you guys the opportunity to kind of use your imagination a little bit and see where it can start going for you in the construction world and for your businesses and beyond that for your clients. All right, we'll wrap up there. I just want to take a minute to thank Ken one last time for being here to talk about the coolest of new technologies. So Ken, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jim and Rocco, and I always enjoy being here. Thanks so much. Again.
All right, cool. All right, folks. With that, we're gonna get out of here, and we'll catch you next time on the Cattle Call Podcast. All right, everybody. Today's Cattle Call was brought to you courtesy of Zentech Consultants. That's Rocco and I. Zentech Consultants works with design and manufacturing firms to help our clients purchase and implement the software that they need in these complex industries. We provide a single point of contact for clients to buy, develop, and learn the most vital software systems for your specific needs. Zentech strives to be your trusted technology partner from your initial needs all the way through long-term support and training for your entire staff. So Rocco, why don't you tell them how to reach out to Zentech?
All right, yeah, you can reach out to us through zentechconsultants.net. You can email us at sales@zentechconsultants.net, or you can even call us 866-824-4459.
Excellent. We look forward to hearing from you all.